Recession Relief Fund Coalition was formed in December 2008. Representatives from some of the frontline agencies started to get increasingly concerned about what they were seeing on the streets, and the fact that there seemed to be more and more people out in desperate need as the recession started to get rolling, and they could just see things getting worse and worse. So we formed in December. We brought together representatives of the frontline agencies, representatives from foundations, from business, and academics. We and other coalitions and organizations demanded that infrastructure spending be not used solely on roads, on bridges, and on public transit, but also on rebuilding the social infrastructure. Governments, we say, need to invest in supporting the agencies that form the basis of the social safety net. They need to reinvest in truly affordable housing. They need to overhaul employment insurance and welfare programs. Government policies and budgets must put resources where they are needed most. And they need to help those dislocated by job loss and economic decline. Now, the logic behind the formation of the Recession Relief Fund Coalition was, and is still, unfortunately, very compelling. Demand for services across the board is up. Agencies tell us that more and more people are losing their jobs and are falling through the social safety net and require help. Over 750,000 people are receiving Ontario Works or ODSP benefits, an increase of 12,000 since March, and the number is getting higher. And agencies are reporting increased domestic violence as the strain begins to tell. And unfortunately, as demand is increasing, funding is declining. And foundations, many foundations, endowment funds have been hit, and I don't need to tell you how it's affected this institution, the University of Toronto's endowment fund. In 2008, it was down 30%. That's $1.3 billion just gone. And unfortunately, the University of Toronto is not alone in those type of losses. Many, many foundations and endowments are down 20–30%. So as a result, many agencies' funding requests have been turned down. And many other agencies have been told not to count on, not to expect long-term funding programs to be able to be continued past the current year. So if it's bad in 2009, it could be even worse next year. But it gets worse. Corporations, many are struggling for survival, and as a result have cut, and in some cases completely cut out, philanthropic and sponsorship programs. But individuals have also cut back. Investment portfolios, RRSPs, they're down about as much as foundations. Endowments are down. People are feeling the pinch, and they're facing an uncertain future, and they're cutting back in discretionary spending, including donations to charities. So it's apparent and it's clear that agencies can no longer rely on non-public funding to support essential programs. So it's up to the federal, the provincial, and the municipal governments to step up and close that funding gap. And governments must also provide additional funding to meet ever-increasing demand. If they don't, programs will close. Agencies will be forced to shut their doors just at the time that they're needed the most. And the impact on individuals and communities will be devastating. The Recession Relief Coalition developed a declaration in December prior to the federal budget. calling on increased federal government funding. More than 250 organizations and coalitions signed on. But as of yet, there's been some talk, but no action and no funding that we can see. We need to continue to mobilize. We need more voices. We need more allies to call on governments of all levels to respond to the desperate needs of the people. And we're working with partners across the country to track the effects of the recession and to make recommendations for policy and funding solutions to address community needs. And we hope that as these indicators are rolled out, that they'll be used by the media, politicians, agencies, communities, and people to tell the story of the recession and its impacts. And we honestly believe, and perhaps we're naive, but we believe that if Canadians are informed, they will come together in common purpose. And we also believe that if that happens, governments will listen. So as part of the effort to build connections, provide information, and mobilize more support for action, the Recession Relief Coalition is holding community events, forums, and hopefully a large rally with partners. We'd also like to encourage and support other groups, and some of those groups are probably in the room today, to hold forums in their communities and to join and assist other coalitions to address social inequities that have been exacerbated by the recession.